Welcome to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego. Please subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. He's the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party talking about Workers' Day. He celebrates this day in commemoration of the workers who died more than 100 years ago. They didn't die here in South Africa. Do you know where they died? Here's the Secretary General to educate us.
Comrades, today workers of the world are meeting to remember and to pay homage to those workers who died in 1886, who were killed by capitalism in Chicago in America. The workers were fighting for simpler things: 8-hour working day, and 40-hour working week. They were fighting for safer working conditions and for a living wage. Today, workers are continuing on the same struggle because of international capitalism that is exploiting workers, sucking their energies in order to build private wealth that is now amassed by various countries, colonial countries, that uses this to oppress other people all over the world.
So Workers' Day, aka May Day, is an international holiday born out of the deaths of the workers in Chicago. Okay, instead of leaving South Africans in peace, they want to use this day to campaign for President Cyril Ramaphosa. The same President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is among the biggest capitalists in South Africa, is the one that you, as a Communist Party, wish to campaign for. The man who had US dollars hidden in his couches. That one. He's the one that you think is for the working class. Are you sure about that? So you celebrate Workers' Day in memory of Americans who died in Chicago. Americans that died more than 130 years ago during what is known as the Haymarket Affair, where they held a general strike for the 8-hour workday. Those ones. And how many American workers died at the hands of these capitalists, as you said? As is recorded in history, four civilians died along with 7 policemen. What happened? Did the police shoot at the people for no reason? No. The police opened fire at the protesters after someone had thrown a dynamite bomb at the police. Even today, if anyone throws a dynamite bomb at the police, it is quite likely that the police will open fire. So workers threw a bomb at the police, Mr. Communist. Don't act like there was any capitalist murderer who caused this to happen.
To those workers who died in 1886, who were killed by capitalism.
What I find interesting is the fact that you're standing on that podium to support President Cyril Ramaphosa, a man who was a director at Lonmin when the Marikana Massacre occurred. The Marikana Massacre caused the deaths of not 11 people, not 4 civilians, but a total of 34 workers who were shot dead by the police, and more than 70 workers were injured.
34 mine workers were brutally put down with live ammunition from a democratic government 8 years ago. Allegedly at the center of the gruesome action by the police is the former trade unionist who formed one of the biggest mine worker union in the world, the NUM, Cyril Ramaphosa.
Sucking their energies in order to build private wealth.
Tell me, Mr. Communist Soli, which workers are you standing in support of when you are telling them to vote for President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is a capitalist? What kind of a communist are you that advocates for workers to vote for a capitalist?
Our progressive movement continues to fight anti-capitalist struggle to free workers from the exploitation of capital in order to create a workplace wherein workers can enjoy their wealth and their labor.
President Cyril Ramaphosa is the biggest capitalist in the ANC, is he not? If I search online, he is listed in many articles as one of the richest men in South Africa. What kind of a communist are you that advocates for the biggest capitalist in the ANC to be the president of South Africa? You are claiming to be in support of the workers. You are celebrating the International Workers' Day, which is in memory of the 11 Americans that died. What about the more than 30 workers that died at the hands of the ANC-led police?
Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa, who was Lonmin's non-executive director of the mine at the time, he was accused of essentially using his influence and proximity to power when he called for police reinforcements, which ultimately resulted in what has become known as the first state-sponsored massacre in a democratic South Africa.
When the Marikana massacre report came out, it even stated that the deaths of the workers was caused by the fact that Lonmin, which Cyril Ramaphosa was a director of, failed to engage workers and the trade unions.
Ramaphosa's name was prominent on the second day of the Marikana Judicial Commission. In an email in which Ramaphosa strongly condemned the protests, described them as criminal acts and suggested concomitant action. Cyril Ramaphosa was accused of having had an influence on the events which led to the Marikana shootings on 16 August 2012. Ramaphosa agreed to testify after calls were made for him either to apologize or to account for his part in the shooting.
President Cyril Ramaphosa promised the late struggle stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela he would go and apologize to the widows of the slain mine workers. Ramaphosa went to the extent of saying at Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's funeral he would go with Julius Malema.
At your 80th birthday, you said you would take me and Julius Malema to Marikana to meet the widows of the departed miners. We could not go because you were not well. You are gone now. I am left to go alone. But I will be guided by your spirit. As you said, and I know that Julius Malema will go with me so that we can go and heal the wounds of the Marikana widows.
Till now, the president has not been able to fulfill that promise to the widows and to the memory of Winnie Madikizela-Mandela.
Gauteng woman whose husband was killed during the August 2012 Marikana massacre says while she's at peace with her loss, she longs for an apology from President Cyril Ramaphosa. This year marks exactly 10 years since police opened fire on striking mine workers.
I do want an apology from the president because I feel like at that time he was a shareholder.
To those workers who died in 1886, who were killed by capitalism in Chicago in America.
Seems to me like the few American workers which you are celebrating died out of a misunderstanding, while the Marikana workers which you, Mr. Communist Soli, are supposed to be speaking for actually died because of the Lonmin capitalists. Cyril Ramaphosa, the man you are asking the workers to vote for, was a director in that company. What a load of hypocrisy, Mr. Communist. Yes, Mr. Communist. Yes, Mr. Solima Paila, you are a hypocrite. You are asking your own communist followers and many union members to vote for the biggest capitalist in the ANC, a capitalist who allegedly hides money in couches. Dear workers, do you see what this man is? He and the rest of these fake communists want you to support a capitalist. Can you not see that you're being used here? They attack capitalism. They want to make it seem like capitalism is out here murdering people to stop them from getting their rights.
The workers were fighting for simpler things. They were fighting for safer working conditions and for a living wage. Today, workers are continuing on the same struggle because of international capitalism that is exploiting workers, sucking their energies in order to build private wealth.
They receive their salaries no matter what the damage is to their members, to their supporters, and to the rest of us citizens. They simply continue to live in their lavish houses and get their fat salaries, but they keep telling our people to support the ANC even when the ANC has destroyed the lives of the voters and the life of this country. Just look at this. These post office workers have lost their jobs because of the ANC. They are protesting against the ANC and against the retrenchments. They are suffering. Why? Because of the ANC. Why would you vote for the ANC when you can see the damage that they have caused to our country and to the lives of these and many other people? I'm glad to see a person speaking up against this foolishness. Here is a person who is asking a legit question.
This government, we voted it in. We are the ones who gave this ANC what it has today. Yes. This minister is sitting in the office not because of his own ticket, because we voted for them. What do we say to our children? What do we say to workers when workers must go and vote on the 29th? And 6,000 families have been shut out. Must we say, oh, ANC, you are still relevant? How?
Many small businesses are closing because of the Transnet collapse. Many people are losing jobs and their companies because of the ANC destroying Eskom. Dear communists, did you not see that President Cyril Ramaphosa went to beg the capitalists to not retrench people? Did you not see that the capitalists are closing companies because of the failures of the ANC? When capitalists close their companies, you are the ones that lose jobs. The government won't receive the taxes that it collects from capitalists, and so it won't receive money it needs to operate, the money it needs to pay the social grants and many other things. Whether we like it or not, capitalists are the ones holding South Africa together right now. And by capitalists, we don't mean these lucky entrepreneurs, BEE beneficiary kind of capitalists like Cyril Ramaphosa. No, we don't mean those who are simply appointed directors in big companies because of their political connections. We mean real, hard-working, big and small capitalists that keep our country afloat. The ones that employ people through their inventions, investments, and sacrifice. These are the capitalists that keep South Africa going. All the salaries of politicians are paid because of the capitalists, because of the taxes that come from the capitalists, from the private sector. Everything you see the government doing, including the SASSA grants and the RDP houses, come from the taxes that are paid by the capitalists and their employees. This communist is talking rubbish, and they are treating you as a voter like you are an idiot, unable to think for yourself. And when you allow this liar to convince you of the lies, then you have fallen for it. I'm Katlego, and this is Citizen Concerned. Until next time, beware of the comrades.
There's an international election. If the ANC loses this election, the setback in this country will be centennial.